Okay, so let's get into this week's assignment. Go back to Canvas. Oh, I didn't say this about our chapter 5 reading. It says it in here down at the bottom, but we're going to read to the end of page 116, where create, plan, and elevation views begins. This is part of what we're going to be doing today, drafting, sketch.
I'm sorry, what did you say? Chapter 5?
Yes,
Okay.
chapter 5 is the end of page 116. And let me maybe 6, I'm scrolling. Okay. Yep, where create plan and elevation view starts, that's where we're going to stop this week. I think it does talk a little bit about collections in this first part. We're going to review that next week, so it's a little bit out of order for us, but yeah, I felt like that was a good place to stop. So you might learn a little bit more this week than what we talked about, but that just means you'll be ready for next week. Okay, back to modules. We are on exercise. Oh, I put 2 exercise 6s in here.
So this should be just 7.
7. I was thinking week 6, exercise 6, but we have 2 exercises last week. Okay, exercise 7. Oh, I was going to change the due date on that. March 20th.
You could have left that.
What's the time?
You notice we ain't say nothing about that. But I will no longer be here.
Okay, the due date is this.
It's awesome, though. That's a good Christmas present.
Okay, so we're going to be importing a sketch. Just look at this. This is the sketch that we'll be importing, just a little dorm room with our dimensions on it that we'll be using. So we're going to import this sketch into SketchUp to use as a reference. So go ahead and download this file. You can just hit the little download button right next to it. And then we're going to import it as an image to your SketchUp model. So I'm going to go back to SketchUp. This is exercise 4. This is the next. Go ahead and get rid of that one so I don't confuse myself. Okay. So in your new SketchUp file, go to File and Import. And then navigate to wherever you downloaded that image to. I don't know why it shows up as snag 2105 EB, but
That's the name of it? Yeah. And it should be a PNG file?
it is a PNG file, yes. Okay, and then before you hit import,
Oh, I already did it.
Before you did it.
that's okay, it might have defaulted.
I'm glad I didn't do it. What you say?
We just want to make sure that our options down here, we have options to use the image as an image, a texture, or a new matched photo. We just want to use it as an image. So make sure image is selected, and then you can go ahead and hit import.
Is image default or did it?
I think it's the default.
It is.
Is it? Okay.
Because it was the first one I have on mine.
Yeah, it defaulted to it for me.
I'm just writing it down, though, just in case.
You'll find out pretty quickly if it's not right.
In case when I get home, it does something funny.
Place it at the origin?
Yep, we're gonna go ahead and click on the origin to place it there,
Boom, bye.
and then you just kind of stretch it out. I just clicked once, I'm not dragging anything, and then just click again to place it. Don't worry about what size it is right now. Just go ahead and place it into your model. And then we're gonna go ahead and resize. I'm gonna make sure. Yes, step number 2. Let me pull it up on my other screen so I can read and do SketchUp at the same time. Okay. Step number 2. we're gonna resize the image. So remember, we can use the tape measure tool to resize our model. The tape measure tool resizes the entire model, which is fine for us right now because we only have our one image in the model. Let me get rid of Teddy here. Okay, so to do that, we're gonna click the tape measure tool on one end of a known dimension. Oops, it says reference PDF. I changed the assignment at the last second. There is no PDF to reference. Okay, so you click the tape measure on one end of a known dimension and then on the other, and then you immediately type the correct dimension and hit enter. So we know some of our dimensions here. Like this one length of wall is 12 feet, so I think I'll just go ahead and use that. So activate the tape measure tool by hitting T on your keyboard. Now when you have an image, there is no inference engine really because this is not model geometry. SketchUp has no idea where these lines are. So you're not going to be 100% accurate. Just try and get as close as you can. So get as close to that corner as you can, and then go ahead and click once there. And then we'll go ahead and find our other corner. Make sure that your line is nice and straight to the axis. Go ahead and click on that other corner. And then immediately, we're going to type 12 feet, enter. SketchUp asks me if I want to resize the model. I do. So I'm going to say yes.
Uh-oh, wait a minute, what happened?
And the image should have automatically resized for you. So now if I check that dimension again, yeah, that's right about 12 feet. Again, you're not going to be 100% accurate since we don't have the inference engine
You
with
said
us.
what it was supposed to do? Like, was it supposed to do something?
Shoot.
Let me do it again.
You know what happened?
Let me control these.
I ended up doing 12 feet, but it was way off the piece of paper. You said put 12 feet.
That's okay. You might have just made your image really small when you imported it. That's okay.
Oh,
What
really?
happened?
We're just resizing it. I'm going to redo it.
No,
All right,
no.
tape measure tool.
I lost my whole thing. Oh my God, this is killing me.
You can always re-import it if you've lost it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we come really close, as accurate as we can to our endpoint. Click there. Go across and find your other endpoint of your known dimension. Click there, and immediately type in whatever the dimension is supposed to be. For me, it's 12 foot.
Oh,
Enter.
you said type it in. I thought we were supposed to use the tape measure to do it.
Nope, we're just using the tape measure to find those two endpoints, and
Right.
then we're going to type in what measurement that length is supposed to be.
But I can't see anything from the tape measure.
I'm
Is
still
that
very
right?
confused, because now I have a giant guideline from the tape measure that looks like it's way more than 12 feet.
If a guideline was created, you probably started out by clicking on a line or...
Oh, so don't click on anything.
Well, you need to click on the image.
Right. That's what I did.
Yeah, just click on the corner
Okay.
of one of the images.
You don't have to hold down shift or anything?
Nope.
Oh,
Just
okay.
click once,
That's what I did.
going across to the other side, clicking there, and immediately typing in whatever that dimension is.
Just
supposed
12
to be.
feet.
Yep, and enter.
But see, why is it letting go? Okay. So if it lets go, I gotta keep holding it
Oh, right.
or no?
Yeah, now that I restarted the recording, good question. You can use any of these dimensions. It doesn't matter, you just need to know a certain dimension and type in based off of that. I could have used this 10 feet. I could have even used this 3 inches. Wow. Okay, so now our image is roughly to scale. Yep, that's about 12 feet across where I'd like it. And then what I'm going to do is just move my image here. So click on the image, grab your move tool, hit M on your keyboard. And where this red arrow is saying origin point, let's move that to the origin point. So again, you're not going to be able to be super accurate. Just try and click somewhere on that red dot and move it to SketchUp's origin point.
Wait a minute, say what?
Let me end it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Here, select your image,
Uh-huh.
and we're going to align this red point here to SketchUp's actual origin.
Oh,
So you have
okay,
to
so
hit
we
the
have to
move.
hit the move tool.
Yeah, select your image, grab the move tool, select that red dot,
Okay.
and move it to the origin. Just because that's where we're gonna be modeling from, and we
Okay.
always wanna be as close to the origin as we can.
Alright. Now it's on the origin.
Okay, step number 3. Place guidelines at the sketch's dimensions. So we're gonna use the tape measure tool and create guidelines to plan out the placement of the walls using the dimensions from the sketch. This might be easiest to do in a top view. So for that, we go up to Camera in the menu bar, hover over Standard Views, and choose Top. And then again, we want to make it kind of a flat, 2-dimensional view. So again, up in Camera, Parallel Projection. That might just be a little bit easier for you because we're going to be working on the ground plane. So a nice 2-dimensional plan view might be easier for you to be able to do that.
Parallel.
So, guidelines, grab your tape measure tool, T on your keyboard. For a guideline, you need to start with a line. We don't have any modeled lines yet, but the axis works just the same. I can click on the green axis here, start to move my mouse away. Oh, it didn't like that actually. Maybe this has to do with the image. Okay, it has to do with the image. It doesn't like the image. So if yours was creating more of a guide point rather than a guideline, just start away from the image a little bit,
okay.
still on that green axis.
Okay.
Oh, it doesn't, oh.
And then our dimension here is telling us 2 feet. So I'm going to create that guideline, 2 feet, enter, away.
Now, my guideline, when I click up on the green axis out of the picture, your guideline is on the picture,
Oh,
on the draft, mine isn't.
Because she went
It's
up above,
behind it.
above the white,
I
you see
did
where the
that.
green line is, and then start pulling away with the tape measure.
Yeah, I did that.
It's behind it.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I think maybe your image got moved up, like off the ground plane maybe. I'm not sure how you did that.
I mean, when I do the guideline, it's 2 feet is the guideline.
Yes.
It's now, when I do it on the image, it's on the image.
That's strange.
Yeah, because when I followed your directions to go up, it went behind it.
I'm unsure about that.
Okay.
Okay, and then
I
we're
did
gonna,
this, my thing doesn't go this way, it's going this way.
are you using the axis that you want? It'll go parallel to whatever axis you choose. So if you choose the red axis,
So I have to, oh, there, yeah.
it'll be parallel to the red, green.
Now I can do 2 feet. There. Alright, whoops.
Okay, so we did our 2 feet. Let's go ahead and do the 12 feet over to the right. 12 feet, enter. And then we'll also want to plan out our walls parallel to the red axis. So we can click on the red axis. Why is this being funny today? Okay. And looks like we've got 3'4". Go ahead and type 3'4", enter. And then another 3'4" from there, so I'm just gonna click on that guideline I just created and do another 3'4", enter.
What was the first guideline?
The dimensions are on the sketch.
Oh.
So we'll have a total of 3 guidelines at 3'4". We're just planning out where these walls are falling right now using the dimensions on the sketch.
Okay, something's not working with my guide.
Okay. Number 4, we're going to create our floor surface. So using the line tool, trace the guidelines around the perimeter of the dorm room to create the floor. So I'll grab my line tool, select the pencil, or you can hit L on your keyboard. And I'm just going to trace around those guidelines using my inference engine here to make sure I'm drawing nice and accurately, finding those intersections. And I'm just tracing the interface of the walls. And once you make it back to your starting point, a surface will appear.
What did you do to skip that 2 foot 8 inches space?
I just drew right over it.
Oh, you did?
Yep, this is just one
I
continuous
just
line.
erased the whole thing, now I don't know, what's the thing that's the opposite of Control Z, Control Y?
That's the deal, yeah.
Yes, Control Y, or you can go up to Edit and hit Redo.
No, everything got deleted now.
Okay, so once you've got that surface created, go ahead and select the surface plus all of its edges. We can double click that surface to grab them all. And we're gonna make a group, so we right click, make group.
So you just did the inside surface, correct?
I only have one surface at this point.
I mean, you only drew the inside lines.
Yes,
You only traced the inside lines.
correct.
Oh, you didn't like skip like the opening of the door or anything?
Nope, I just drew right over it.
Okay.
We're just working on the walls right now. Okay, and then I'm gonna double click into that group that I just created so that I can edit it. Double click there. And then I'm gonna push pull P on your keyboard, that surface down 1 foot. So you can orbit yourself around a little bit. We're going down 1 foot, enter. So now we've got some thickness to our floor. Oh, I just realized I did
You win.
those steps backwards. Or no, I didn't. Okay, I created the floor surface. Okay, so now we have a floor in a group. Now we're going to trace those exact same lines to start creating walls. So step number 5 is where I'm at now. We're going to trace those guidelines again to create walls. It might be helpful to activate X-ray mode at this point. There are 2 ways we can get to X-ray mode. Go up to View, Face Style, and X-ray. That makes all of your faces kind of translucent, so you can see through them. So now I can still see my sketch here. The other way that you get to it is from the Styles panel, over on the Edit tab, your face settings. You can click X-ray right there too. I can toggle on and off from here as well. SketchUp often has more than one way to do things. So many huffs tonight. We'll get there. Don't worry.
Because I can't see.
Don't worry. If you're struggling, maybe just watch for a little bit. Okay, so we have our floor surface created. I just turned X-ray mode on so that I can see through my faces. I can still see my sketch. So now I'm going to use the line tool to trace over those guidelines again, but this time we're going to start drafting walls. So I'm going to use the line tool and just go over those exact same lines. We can't use the same lines because we already put them inside of a group, so now they're nice and isolated. They're not going to be able to be useful for our walls, so we have to go ahead and recreate those lines. Just trace all around.
What if you didn't make it a group?
You definitely want to make it a group first. The floor surface?
But my floor surface didn't do that little square thing, so should I not make it a group right now, or can I change it later?
I wouldn't wait too long to make your groups because then things are going to get stuck together. if you trace your lines and you go all the way back to the start, everything's nice and parallel, it should have created a surface for you. Okay, so once I trace those lines again, something else that might be helpful, you can change the color of all of your edges, because right now it's kind of hard to see black lines on a black and white drawing. So again, in our styles panel, we can go over to edit and the edge settings. So we saw before we could change it and do it by axis, the color of the edges. This time we'll keep them all same, but I can click on this little black color box here, and I can actually change the color and make them whatever color I'd like. I'm gonna go ahead and make mine red. You can change what kind of picker you'd like, if you'd like the color wheel, or you can choose an RGB so that you can actually specify the exact color that you're looking for. So I want red, so I'm gonna put that red all the way up. Hit OK. And now all my edges are red. And so they're a little bit more easier to see on top of that black and white photo. Again, that's just a preference thing.
When you're drawing the lines, are you supposed to click every time you stop at a corner?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, you need to click on each point. Okay, then we're going to offset the edges of the wall 6 inches outward to create the thickness of the walls. So once I created that whole loop again, you probably have another surface created there. So we're just going to use the offset tool again, that's F on your keyboard. Click on that surface and it'll offset all of the edges. We're going to do it outward 6 inches. Okay, step number 6. So yeah, when you finish tracing the walls, a face will be created for your walls. So that's that surface there. And then there should also be a surface created inside. That's just because we created a closed loop, so SketchUp automatically puts that surface there for us. We don't need this surface because we already have a floor. So we can just go ahead and delete that. So select that inner surface and hit delete to get rid of it. And then we're going to go ahead and select the surface of the walls plus all of the edges. So I can just double click that surface to select them all. Right click and make a group.
Just a quick question.
Yeah,
How do you make where did you find the color?
that was in my styles panel
Styles.
on the default tray. Go over to the edit tab.
Edit.
And your edge settings, that's going to be the very first cube. And then down where it says color, all same, just click on that little color box there and you can change the color. Okay,
And then for, what if yours, when you right click, it doesn't give you the option of making it a group, like you just did?
let me Control Z to undo here. So you've got it selected, you've got your surface and your edges selected. You have to right click on that selection for those options to come up. If I right click somewhere way over here, it might not give me all those same options. So grab everything, right click on that selection and make a group. Okay, and then
This is gonna sound stupid.
okay.
So I was supposed to go off of the guidelines and trace, not the photo.
Yeah, because our guidelines are nice and precise at this point.
Got it.
Sorry, I didn't explain.
No, that's where I was jacked up. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, really at this point, we don't really need the image. It's
Yeah,
just
that's what
there
kept
as our
confusing me
reference.
was the image, and I kept, that's okay, it's your, not
I
your.
mean, I could delete it if it's
I
bothering me.
couldn't figure out.
Sure. Well, we are gonna still create the door and the window, so you might still need those dimensions.
I'll just move it to the side.
Yeah, you can move it to the side most definitely.
I'm just.
Okay, let's keep moving. We are still on step number 6. Yes, so at this point, we should have 2 groups. One for the walls, one for the floor, and there's no other loose geometry in our model. Everything is inside of a group.
And you're saying step 6, what page is that on?
It's on.
It's just the exercise from Canvas. Over here.
Assignments, we
Over
go to
here.
exercise, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in our modules, week 6, exercise 7. I'm just coming straight from here. Okay, so we got 2 groups. You can delete the guidelines at this point. Remember, we can delete them all at once by going up to Edit and Delete Guides. Get rid of all of them. At this point, you can also return your face settings back to normal if you don't like the X-ray mode anymore. We can go up to View, Face Style, and uncheck X-ray. You're also free to change your edges back to black if you prefer them that way. These are just kind of showing you the different ways that you can customize to make things a little bit easier to see for you. But definitely feel free to change those things back if you don't like them. Okay. Yes, as Shayla said, if this image is kind of in your way, feel free to move it off to the side. You just select that image, use the move tool, and just get it out of your way. We don't really need it anymore at this point, maybe just as a reference for dimensions. Okay.
Select the image.
Yep, just click it to select it,
Oh,
move it out of the way.
so you can see how many lines you're missing.
Okay, step number 7. Oh man, my step numbers are all messed up, you guys. I'm sorry, I was doing this last night. Alright, step number 7, we're going to extrude the walls. So double click into your wall group. Double click my wall surface here. And then use the push-pull tool to extrude your walls up 9 feet. So I'll hit P on my keyboard for push-pull. Select that surface of the walls. Oops, I just double clicked myself. Select that surface. Start to move your mouse up and type 9 feet. Enter to give yourself some 9-foot walls. Okay, and then step number 8. I'll fix these step numbers really quick since I there it off. Okay, you might need to refresh Canvas to see the changes I just made. All I did was update the step numbers so they actually make sense. So we're on step number 8. We're going to create the openings for this door and this window here.
I don't see it, step number 8 on the thing.
Refresh. Oh, I just fixed it. Okay, so still within the wall group, so if you clicked out of it, just go ahead and double click back into your wall group. We're going to draw on the face of the wall, so we're going to be looking at it just like we're looking at a wall in the room. We're going to locate the starting points of the door by creating a guideline back to our sketch. It starts 3 inches away from this inner corner here, and then our door is 2 feet 8 inches wide. So I'm just going to create myself some guidelines for that. So from the inside corner here, grab my tape measure tool, and I click on that edge and create a guideline 3 inches away. And then I'll click on that guideline I just created, and the width of the door, 2 foot 8, enter. And then our door is going to be 7 feet tall. That's in the assignment. You're not going to find that on the sketch, but step number 8 tells you the height of the door is 7 feet. So I'm going to click on the bottom of my wall here with my tape measure tool, pull my mouse up and type 7 feet, enter. And now I'm just going to trace over those guidelines I created. with the line tool. Trace over those. Find those intersections.
Pop it out.
Yep, and once you do, you should now have two separate surfaces, one where the door opening is gonna go, and one for the rest of your wall. So then this, where the door is gonna go, we're gonna use the push-pull tool to push it all the way through. And you'll find the back face, you click and it should disappear. If it doesn't, just align it to that outside face. If there's still a surface there, just delete the surface that's there. Sometimes it pushes all the way through, sometimes it doesn't. Just depends on the day. Okay, so now we're gonna go do that same thing for our window. So the window goes in this little nook here. Yeah, what's up, Jim?
My whole floor like disappeared or,
That sounds like more than 10-second questions.
sorry.
I'll help you later. Okay, so for the window in this little nook here, we are going to, well, it doesn't really tell you, but I think I told you the assignment. Yes, on the window wall, locate the starting point of the window by creating guidelines 2 inches from each adjacent wall. So, I'm still inside the wall group. I'm gonna grab my tape measure again. Click on an edge here for this wall and make a guideline 2 inches away. Same thing on the other side. Grab this edge, 2 inches. And then we need to locate the sill height and the head height for the window. So we're gonna grab this bottom edge, still with the tape measure tool, pull it up and make sure it's along that blue axis, nice and straight. And my assignment tells me 3 foot above the floor, the sill height, so 3 foot, enter. And then the height of the window is going to be 7 feet above the floor. So I'm gonna click on that bottom edge again, pull it up 7 feet, enter. And then we're just gonna trace that little area to create where the opening's gonna go. You can use the line tool, trace around, or since this is a nice rectangle, we can use the rectangle tool. Whichever one you want, I'm gonna use the rectangle tool. So I just hit R on my keyboard to pull that up. Gonna find an intersection here, click there, and go find the opposite corner, click again. And again, you should have a surface for the wall and a surface for that inner portion that we just created. You're gonna use push-pull to push that surface out, and it should disappear. Okay, we can go ahead and delete the guidelines again. Go up to Edit, Delete Guides, and you can exit the wall group. So just click away to exit that wall group. Okay, step number 9. If you don't already have a Trimble ID, that's where you're going to need it. Okay, so step number 9 is literally just creating a Trimble ID. So if you already got that, move on to step 10. Import a door component from the 3D warehouse. So I'm going to go up to Window, 3D warehouse. And we're looking for a door, so I'm just going to search for door. Grab any one you like. If any of them calls to you, they look nice. Probably don't grab one that has a bunch of doors in it. You don't need all those extra doors. Try and just grab a single door. Literally anyone that you'd like. I'm just going to grab this this one. I think that's the one I looked at before. And download that into your model. Yes, I do want to load it directly into my SketchUp model. And here it comes. So then I'm just going to place the door so that it aligns with that opening I created. So I'm just gonna stick it right here on that corner. And it's not quite the size that I need. So I might need to make some adjustments with the scale tool. Move it into place on one side, and then with it still selected, I'll hit S for scale. And I'm gonna grab the opposite grip. It's a little bit difficult to see since our wall is in the way. But you should be able to still find the grips, even though you can't necessarily see them. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this opposite one here. See, this one is a uniform scale, so it's only gonna go uniformly towards that opposite grip. So what I'm gonna find is this middle one that is not a uniform scale. It gives me a little bit more flexibility with how I move it.
Let me see which middle one you got.
What are you talking about?
Oh, okay, in the middle of the door.
Oh, the
Okay.
middle of the
Yes,
door,
got it.
now I see.
Yeah, that gives me
Okay.
more flexibility with how I can manipulate the door.
I get it.
Okay.
So then I'm just gonna orient myself around and align it with the top corner of that door opening. Okay. Now it's the size I want. We're gonna do the same thing with the window. So back to your greedy warehouse. This time I'll type in window. Find one you like. This one looks okay to me. Again, you can download it directly from this thumbnail with the little download button, or you can click into it and hit the download button there. Either way, load it into your SketchUp model. This one's a little bit funky. See, it's giving me the point is actually not even on my window. That's okay. I can just place it somewhere, and then I'll go ahead and grab the specific point that I want. And move it in place. And again, it's not quite the size that I want, so I'll use the scale tool. This one's a little bit harder to find my grips. Here it is. And I'll align that. Actually, I don't really like this window. It's not giving me the grips where I want them. That's weird. I wonder if there's something inside of this
Window.
component that's making it stretch up like that. I don't actually know why the box is bigger than the component.
The box is huge.
Yeah, am I even hit it?
I get a new window.
Yeah.
It's too weird.
Yeah, I like that one. Next.
What if it doesn't have a download button on the,
Yeah, a couple of these, I'm actually not super sure what this is. It says something about live. If I went in there, there is a download and configure. I wonder if they're just like actively working on this.
Live components are graduating out of SketchUp labs.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that is, I'll be honest with you.
So we might not want to use that. It's being discontinued.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about grabbing things from the 3D
Right.
warehouse. Somebody else modeled it. You don't know how they did it. It could be
What volume
Not
of
the
SketchUp
best
they
model.
used 7 years ago,
Right,
8 years
yeah.
ago.
maybe they didn't model it very well, so then you're gonna have a bad window like I found. So sometimes it's a little bit of trial and error. There we go. I like this one better. So in this case, it's rotated the wrong way. No worries.
Uh-oh.
I can rotate the window. I know how to do that.
Rotate, I'm done.
Well, we can just review rotate.
I know, I'm gonna need you to help, cause I was losing my mind with that rotate.
So in this case, I just placed it kind of randomly so I can rotate it. So I've still got it selected. I'll hit Q for rotate. I do want it to be on the blue axis just because of the way I'm going to rotate it. But remember, you can use your arrows left and right
Okay.
to toggle between red and green.
Yeah.
Or the up arrow finds you the blue.
Do not remember that.
I know now, but I didn't remember that last night.
Hold down shift to keep it locked on that axis. And then go ahead and find a corner. Click once to specify where the rotation is going to be happening. So that point is going to stay in place. Click again, like create a line, and just click again to kind of specify your starting axis.
Direction.
Yep, so
Oh,
that's
okay.
my second click right there. And then I can rotate it whichever way I'd like to go. I want mine to be 90 degrees, so I can just type in 90.
I think that's why I'm messing up. I'm doing too much clicking.
Yeah, 2 clicks.
Yeah,
And then
I'm
you
doing
rotate.
too much. Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and move that guy into place.
Mercy. And now you gotta do the same thing, scale it down.
Yeah, I'll steal this again, S on my keyboard. Find that grip that I like that lets me manipulate it really easily.
So it's the middle grip that really makes it the easiest, isn't it?
Right.
For this application, yes. Sometimes you do want to use those corner ones so that everything stays proportional to each other.
Okay.
Like if I grab this corner,
Uh-huh.
it's just gonna go in a more uniform
Oh, right.
scaling.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you just gotta be kind of choosy with which one you want.
Oh,
This one gives me the flexibility I
I
want.
like that.
To
Okay.
manipulate it,
Correct.
and I'm thinking too,
Thanks for
because
showing
it's
that.
like a both side thing, maybe that's why it's acting stupid like that.
Yeah.
Because it's being used from both sides of the coin. I
Yeah.
would think, that's just my take. If it was a one size fits all, then it would have been good.
Right.
Gotcha.
And see, I can even edit this window, like it looks like I can see
Ah.
through it on this side,
Yeah.
but I can't quite see through it on this side.
Aha.
I'll just go ahead and edit it and make it what I want it to be. Just keep on double clicking until I find that
So you can
surface.
check out, but you can't check in. Oh, no.
Sounds like a horror.
I know, right?
Go find my glass.
Like those movies that say, come inside, let me in. Oh, my goodness.
There we go, now I can see it.
Yep.
What did you do?
Debbie's Lord.
I just edited the material of the glass so that I could see through it.
Oh, so you selected the materials, glass, and then.
Yes. Just like we did for the bookcase.
Oh,
We
okay,
created
made it
those glass.
transparent.
Yeah. Okay, and then we're almost done.
No.
Last step, I want you to keep on practicing importing different components. So give me at least 3 more components inside of your dorm room. A bed, a nightstand, and a desk at a minimum. You can deck out your dorm room however you'd like. If you wanna make it real nice and cozy, you can add whatever you'd like in there. Just give me at a minimum, bed, nightstand, and a desk. And just be aware, the more components you add, the more it's gonna kind of slow down your file. It's not gonna slow it down immediately. It'll just be once you get to the point where you've got a bunch of components, that's when it starts to slow
Yeah,
down.
it takes a while to pop up.
Right, and remember, in your components panel here, you can always purge the unused ones, get it cleaned up. Like I just got rid of that window that I'm not using anymore, because I didn't like that window.
So when I downloaded an object, whatever, from the warehouse, it like changed my whole SketchUp scene to just that object instead of how did you drag it into the dorm?
Let me come around and help you.
Okay.
Okay, I think that is it for this assignment. So we've got just about 20 minutes of work time.